What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Electric B2B Show. And what I got for you today is a very fresh and a very recent experience. And it goes back to a conversation I've been having with a couple of people. Okay. And it's about this piece of news, which I don't know if you have heard. But what happened was that there was this really innovative Saas company, a B2B company, and they had a very bright marketing team. And as many bright marketing teams do, they came up with some really, really sophisticated and awesome messaging, some very clever positioning. And through their content and distribution efforts, they basically opened up on all the intelligence behind their product, all the thinking, all their special and unique understanding of the customers and the market's problem. And the product was great, and the marketing was really spot on and awesome. The content efforts were super generous. They immediately built an awesome following, a big community. Even their competitors learned from them. And then they went bankrupt, even though they had a really good product and they had healthy finances. And I don't know if you've heard of this company. If you haven't, I'm not surprised, because there was none. So this never happened. So when you have a good product and you have awesome marketing that is very generous, and the content is so good and so deep that it builds a movement, that it creates a unique position for you in the marketplace, which, by the way, is probably only achievable through very good content that is probably better and more generous than your competitors. If you have this, you're not going to go bankrupt. Or if you will, it's going to be because of other things going on in the company. But this will never hurt you. But on the other hand, how many stories have you heard where the positioning was really spot on and they created a unique category, and the same thing happened and they just blew up the business, and the hockey stick curve came, the coveted hockey stick growth came, and everybody was just so everything turned out awesome and the business exploded. I mean, you've heard countless stories of that. And in fact, there's one story that pops up like every other day of a company doing really good in positioning and marketing, even with a mediocre and average product, which people hate to. I mean, this is controversial, but I think many experts agree that if you have awesome marketing and positioning with an okay to mediocre product, or just a good product, you're going to beat somebody who has objectively a better product but worse marketing. So you're going to get a larger market share with all other things being equal. So marketing can actually make up for a not so perfect product in terms of revenue and sales. Now, it's not to say that this is the goal, or this should be the goal, or that you shouldn't be striving to make your product or your service really awesome. But it's just the truth, and I know this stirs a lot of debate, but I think most marketers are on my side regarding this. So this just goes to show you the importance of the marketing strategy and the execution behind everything that you're doing. Okay, now the point I was bringing up is that many people are concerned that if they reveal too much of their product, then it's going to hurt their business. Because number one, what if customers don't want to talk to us after this? What if they go and start to execute on their own with alternative tools? Because it's possible, with the knowledge we give them, they can just, solve their problems with other means, with a spreadsheet or whatever, with a freelancer or whatnot. They can have the thing programmed. And what if that happens and they don't buy our product? Well, the easy answer to that is that, yes, you're right, it will happen. It will happen. So customers will take the free information that you give them, and they will create an alternative solution to what you offer for their problems. And you know what? That's great news. And an even scarier thing, which is another thing that comes up in these conversations, is what if competitors steal these ideas, which they will. I mean, we are ungating our content. They don't even need to fill out a form. They can just come to the webinar, or, click 3 buttons on the website, and they can just, snatch this knowledge, the precious knowledge which we have compiled, and and they can use it in their marketing, in their product, and that's it. Well, let me tell you, that too will happen. And if you're honest with yourself, It has happened vice versa as well in the other direction, where you were learning from your competitors. Now, that's not necessarily copying or stealing. You just, as any sensible person would do, observe what they're doing. And yes, there will be ideas which you will take and you will transform and compile into whatever you're doing. Even if it's not apparent, you're still going to take intelligence and ideas from the marketplace, from your direct and indirect competitors, and by the way, from other industries as well. If you're sensible and smart about it in this way, you will get ideas from other industries as well, and you might use it as a part of your solution. And that to me is just the definition of learning in business. So there's nothing in the world that is wrong with this. Of course, I'm talking about taking information that is publicly available, and I'm not talking about spying and stealing, okay? Because that's a different thing. Of course, I totally disapprove of that. But learning from your competitors and your competitors learning from you is just totally natural, okay? And I'm going to go one step further. Everybody knows the open source movement in software. And you would think that making good business out of distributing information and knowledge in your systems and sharing it and then enjoying the benefits of having created a platform, you would think that marketing and business people would be smart enough to come up with that. But I actually think it's not from the business side of things that invented this. It's from open source. It's from the software people. So software people were much quicker, much faster to realize that if they contribute to building an ecosystem which is free for all, even their competitors, that the platform itself and the movement and the dynamics and energies that come with creating something will benefit them much more than if they would keep it to themselves and try to monetize the platform. So again, there are just too many companies to list who have created open source platforms, who have decided to open source their technologies so that they could more easily integrate with other things and so that other people could take it and make awesome things out of it, okay? And probably the most recent example is DBT, which is a data technology. And the company who created this open source technology created a for-profit company as well. They now have a cloud-based version, which is a pay-for thing, and they're growing like this, and they're preparing for their IPO, and it's just massive. And it's just the most recent example that comes to mind, but there are literally a gazillion companies who have done this and who will be doing this. Now, again, open sourcing is not the only business model out there, so you can totally create a technology that is proprietary and then build stuff on that and sell that and not open source anything. That's, it's a totally valid business approach and model. Nothing in the world wrong with it. I'm just speaking now because there is in some people this fear of giving out like way too much knowledge and then having it stolen. Okay. Now keep in mind, if you're in technology, if you're in software, other than giving out the code, which again, it could make basic business sense to like give out the code and open source it and make it free. But other than that, you're not a pharmaceutical company who will spend, $19 gazillion researching some molecule. Of course, that sort of intellectual property is something that you would want to protect and keep to yourself. But if you're a service company, if you're in business software, it works totally differently. It works much more on the momentum of creating communities and creating categories. Okay, let me just give you an example. One of my favorite examples of doing this. Account-based marketing. There are a few people who claim that they came up with the term account-based marketing, and one of these people is Sangram Varya, the co-founder of the ABM platform Terminus. So they created this piece of marketing technology, and supposedly they called it account-based marketing. Okay, and there was other technology existing at the time which did the similar things, but what they did was they created this category. They named what they were doing account-based marketing. They defined it, and it was now a thing. And then what they did next is something that blows my mind away, and it's probably the same for many other people, but now I completely get it, that I understand it. What they did was they created a conference where they invited their competitors, the competing marketing technologies, And so together they created this big event around the concept of account-based marketing. They invited speakers and analysts and whatnot. And naturally, all their competitors brought their little crowds and communities and customers as well. And they all benefited from having created this new category, which now they all enjoyed. and this became ABM, account-based marketing, and it's now a category in marketing technology and software as well. And the way they brought this about is by having invited their competitors to contribute to building this new category. Okay, so like it's the reverse of what most people think, of the way most people think intuitively. So if you want to make an impact with your content, think about this. What piece of insight, of intelligence or knowledge is it that you haven't yet revealed that you know is super valuable for your customers, and even for the marketplace, for your competitors? Okay, and think about what would happen if you reveal this. And if you put your fear aside, of course, like don't leave your brain at home. So there is the kind of information that you just don't want to reveal about your product, but there's likely a lot less of this than you think. There's a lot more intelligence that you can reveal that would greatly benefit your customers and your buyers, your prospects, that you're holding to yourself, you're withholding right now for the fear of getting it out and having it snatched and copied, and for fearing that the customer will go with some other solution now that they have this insight. Okay, so what is this piece of knowledge or insight or area? And I would just start publishing about it. So the best way to test these ideas is on social media. Most of you are on LinkedIn. So if you start dropping pieces of golden nuggets on LinkedIn, and see how your network reacts to it, that's a great way to do it. And if there's traction, you can create an article or a blog post episode, or a blog post, or a podcast episode, or a webinar, or whatever your favorite way of creating content is, or all of the above. Because if you're smart about it, you're going to repurpose the content. So if you do this, you can start small. So start dropping little pieces of gold. And when you see traction, and after you've had engagement and input, and after you've had a few conversations with the marketplace, you can turn these posts and this whole thing into some larger and more meaningful piece of collateral. And you can promote this, because very likely it's going to be something that the marketplace has not yet revealed. Okay? And as such, the media is probably going to have a lot of interest, and your customers and your buyers are definitely going to have a lot of interest in it. And it's just going to take you very, very far with relatively not too much effort. Okay, so think about this. Like, what awesome piece of insight and concepts can I teach my marketplace that would make a big, big difference in their lives that nobody has yet dared to unleash and release into the public? And by the way, your competitors might be sitting on the same insight and same knowledge as well. And guess who's going to be the good guy in the story if you release it first? Okay, so after you release it and make a big deal about it, because you go out and distribute it the right way in the marketplace, and you get the PR kudos and everything that comes with this, like the number 2 guy is not going to have anything left. So you're going to eat their dinner if you do this before them. Okay, so just think about that. Happy to talk to you. Give me your comments, and I guess I'll just see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.